Okay, fine. You wanna know what happened with Arafu? I tell you. I don't know what exactly happened, but I can take a wild fucking guess and say that this is that fucking cannibals Ian's Westfault. The way I see it, he must have run right back to Arefu after I rescued him and told them all that Vance was the second coming of Jesus Christ, because he's such a fucking saint that when he eats people, he restricts himself to just sucking the blood out of their necks. No doubt he'd raised the family to high heaven and made me out to be the bad guy for wiping out the cannibal gang. And being stupid wastelanders, they believed this asshole immediately and didn't think twice about shooting at me on sight when I returned to give them the news. Never mind asking for my side of the story. As far as I'm concerned, that lying motherfucker is responsible for Arafu's destruction, not me. What was I supposed to do? Shrug off the gunfire? There was no cover to hide behind on an open highway. I couldn't go anywhere other than jumping over the side of the bridge to my death. And one of these shots could have hit me in an unarmored spot if I let them take shots at me long enough. I had to fight back, and by fighting back, Arefu got killed. And Ian West is a liar. He couldn't have told them anything resembling the truth if what he told them got them to throw explosive down the highway and shot at me. And I knew that. That's why when I had finished walking through the rest of the town's resident and I found Ian covering in his house at the end, I didn't just kill him. I smeared him over the front of it and left a big red stain. I digress though. That's all in the past now. This is the present, and in the present I have bigger problems than pissed off humans to deal with. Remember I wrote in this journal a few weeks ago about all the things that President Eden warned me against on Enclave Radio? Well, I came across another one of them today. Today I met a super mutant. Actually, that's wrong. The way I wrote the sentence implies I only met one of them. I met a whole fucking gang of them. After Arefu turned out so bad, I headed north back to Seneca and began walking east in hope of finding Minefield and hopefully Category Commons too, because I've been meaning to check that place out. On my way, I passed through a place called Hallowed Moor Cemetery, which was home to a whole group of these ugly green bastards. One of them had a minigun, a few others had hunting rifles, and the rest tried to beat me to death with whatever they had found. Things got worse when a malfunctioning pre-war robobrain and some tentative-faced abomination also entered the fray. I wanted to cover in the ruins of the old church and just wait for either the robot or the super mutants to die, but the minigun mutant followed me inside, and they were also keeping a captive wastelander. I couldn't risk the potential harm to the captive, so then I did something really dumb and ran into the open. Just as the others had finished with the robobrain, at least that machine managed to kill fuckface before the mutants rushed me. I swear, I have never taken a more painful beating in all my life. Growing up I always thought Butch could throw a damn hard punch, but now I realize what a complete and utter pussy he really is. Firstly, because this green monstrosity that managed to get within beating range and disarm me just after I had dropped the last of his friends almost knocked me out cold with a single punch. And secondly, because I hit the mutant back and I punched his fucking head off. I'm not even kidding. His head literally separated from his shoulders and went flying back behind him. I didn't even realize I did it until I punched again and hit the still standing corpse in the shoulder and separated his arm as well. I have never seen such a brutal dismemberment in all my life. And I did that, accidentally, with my fists. I must have been mutated by the radiation to become super strong or something. It's this wasteland air. It's making me superhuman. I bet if I gave Butch a pat on the shoulders now, I'll liquidize him.
What?
Nevertheless, The captive was very grateful for my help and got away clear.
Are you for real?
The church also had some
I'm
interesting
safe?
items, a mini nuke,
I
and
need to
another
get out
copy
of
of
here.
the big book of
Here, take
science
these
were among
supplies. It's
the
all I
more
have,
mundane
but they'll only
findings.
slow me down.
My two favorite finds there were actually on issues of the DC Journal of Internal Medicine, which is about what you expect it to be, and I am very happy to have found, and a holotape recording by a woman named Tina. This thing is old, pre-war, but it still plays. Turns out that this woman's brother was a soldier in the US Army and he stole a passcode for a security military bunker where they were going to ride out the apocalypse because they couldn't get into a vault. Her number was 5. I wonder if they ever made it. It's sad to think, in a way, all the people that died. I never really thought about it before. The fact that we're living in a world destroyed long ago was just one of these facts of life I accepted and never really thought about. Hearing a voice from before the war, though, gets me thinking. You know, they say that ghouls were the way because of radiation. They're apparently really long-lived because of it too. Most ghouls are probably like the way they are because they were around when the bombs dropped. I wonder if Gob, the bartender, was there when the world died? If I ever see him again, I'm going to ask. I want to know his story. Well, I got a decent hunting rifle out of it too, and another minigun, so there's also that. I was worried I wouldn't be able to carry all my stuff, but I've got a pretty strong bag now, after 2 weeks out here. I can handle it. After that I needed a doctor, so I wandered around for a bit until I eventually stumbled across Big Town, which is where I am now. They got super mutants attacking them from one side, slavers from another,
Hey, who are
and
you?
their town doctor has been captured and taken up some place called Germantown. And they also had a severely injured man here too, a fellow called Time Bomb. I may not be able to do anything about my own injuries, thanks to the lack of stimpaks, but I did have all the equipment on hand to perform an impromptu operation on Time Bomb. Dad's lessons weren't wasted after all. I saved a man's life. Feels good. The kidnapped doctor also had another internal medicine in her clinic, which I stole. Feels good too. From now on, if any books I found are just copies of something I read before, I'm just going to skim it quickly to see if there are any real differences in quality of content, like pages missing from one version that weren't from another, and just sell off the inferior copies. Red's DC journal here has a whole chapter that the one I found in the church didn't have, and the big book of science from the same church as an index that was absent from the Jury Metro Station version. Anyway, this town looks like it's going to go to shit pretty fast, unless I do something. After RFU, I'm really wary of going off to fight bad guys and rescue people, but I want to at least give them a chance to not be dicks to me. So, we are going to try the RFU formula again. I marked Big Town and the cemetery on my map, so I know where I'm starting from, set a waypoint for Germantown, and I've stored my equipment away in the clinic, which is where I'm staying for the night, and tomorrow I'm going to head over to rescue this red person and see if I can end the threat of the super mutants. But I swear to God, if I found that Red is a super mutant and I return to Big Town after rescuing her to fight a bunch of fucknuggets shooting at me because she told them that the minigun wielding hulks who attack people on sight were really just shy, and that I murdered them because I'm the Antichrist, that I'm going right over to Evergreen Mills, picking a fight with the raider leader, taking over their gang and using them to bring down a raid of fucking destruction on the entire wasteland. I am talking scorched earth and rivers of blood. I will personally kill every 10th wasteland scumbag I ever meet and use their teeth and rib cages to construct a 50-story tower dedicated to my greatness so I can lord over the rest of the primitives and throw these mini nukes I keep finding down on the general populace from the high. Then I'm going to use my raider gang to dig out a cavern underneath my tooth and ribcage tower and build my own vault entirely out of my victims' skulls, and I will seal myself inside it and just live in there by myself alone forever. Because no one else in this hellhole has the required IQ to be allowed entry into my skull vault. And maybe one day an enterprising wasteland hero can breach my vault and kill me to rescue one of the many people I will inevitably kidnap for repair and maintenance materials, and he can take him or her back to their hometown and be shot at by them. And thus the cycle will continue. My skull vault will be a haven for the intellectual murderers of the capital wasteland for years to come. I will build a legacy, son.